The first bill arrives. Certified mail is the Postal Service's way of saying, you are about to learn something unpleasant. Marla's front porch camera caught the mailman handing her a thick envelope like a live grenade. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up like the 4th of July in a dry county. Group chat. What is this? Caps lock, 7 question marks, a photo of the letter, and a manicure choice I would not have made. The letter itself had fonts that screamed in legalese. Intent to accelerate, some due. $600,000. Due upon change in control. My favorite line. Failure to cure will result in further action. I could hear the further action putting on its boots. Neutral cousin forwarded the screenshot with the comment, "Oh wow," which is Switzerland for pass the popcorn. I obliged. Microwave. Butter. Salt. Knee tucked up on the chair like I was watching rain. Marla followed with voice notes that sounded like a soprano balloon deflating. You did this. I typed. Policy predates all of us. See clause 7.3.2, effective date in 2009. I attached a PDF and a smile emoji so small you needed a microscope. Brent chimed in. We'll just undo it, like Control Z. Undo what, Gravity? I replied. You accepted operational control, publicly, 3 times, with filters. He sent back the eye roll emoji, which is brave in the face of math. Their lawyer tried a rescind-o-matic maneuver. We will be returning the keys and declining to act as operators. The lender responded like a polite guillotine. Receipt of title acceptance and evidence of operation control is documented. Rescission not applicable. See recordings. Recordings. Plural. Brent's selfie with the deed folder, their handshake in the conference room, the caption, Legacy secured. That last one doing the heavy comedic lifting. Receipts tap danced in my inbox wearing tiny top hats. Marla summoned a family talk at her house, which smells like eucalyptus and denial. I brought the barn ledger in a casserole carrier, because that's called branding. Brent opened the door with the energy of a bouncer at a church lock-in. No phones, he announced. I set mine on airplane mode and smiled like a flight attendant who knows the landing will be rough. At the table, the letter lay between the decorative wooden bowl and a candle labeled Ocean Regret. Marla pinched the bridge of her nose like she was massaging away responsibility. Why didn't you warn us? She demanded. I slid the ledger out like a roast, opened to the loans page. Laid my fingertip on the clause. Because I told you to read everything and you told me to relax, I said softly. Now I'm relaxed. Brent poked the ledger like it might bite. This is your copy. I turned the page, showed the margin with Grandpa's square handwriting. This is his copy, I said. The room tilted just enough to make the chandelier nervous. Marla tried a new tack. Tears. Grandpa wanted unity. I let the sentence sit until it wilted. Unity isn't forgery cosplay, I said. Unity is calling the co-op when the fence is down at midnight. Brent muttered, You're dramatic. I nodded, and organized. Marla waved the letter. They can't make us pay this. I pulled a printout from my folder like a magician who bills by the hour. They can. Section numbers highlighted. And before you ask, yes, the notary logs are a problem for you, not for me. Silence did the heavy lifting. You could hear the diffuser gurgle. In the distance, a lawnmower reconsidered its life. Brent tried a business voice he borrowed from YouTube. We'll get a bridge loan. I made a pitch deck. Slide 1 is a sunset. I said, bridge loans require a bridge. He said, we'll sell equipment. I said, it's collateral. He said, we'll sell the house. I shrugged. Houses sell, clauses cling. Each idea fell like a wet sock. Marla reached for anger. You orchestrated this. I shook my head. Grandpa orchestrated the rule. I followed the sheet music. She flinched at the word rule like it had teeth. Her lawyer called on speaker. We suggest negotiating with the lender. The lender does not negotiate with vibes. We're prepared to propose a workout plan, he continued, meaning, we'll stall until the fees breed. I pointed to the timeline on the letter. Cure period is short. Fees are sprouting like zucchini. Neutral cousin coughed. Do we have another option? I closed the ledger gently. Yes. Resign your claims and let competent operators step in. The debt stays where it is. Marla recoiled like I'd offered her a sandwich made of consequences. Never, she spat. Pride beat math 3-0 in. Overtime, the scoreboard laughed in local weather. A new ding. The lender followed up with, acknowledgement of change in control, signature required. Brent slapped the paper like it misbehaved. We're not signing that, I shrugged. You already did. That one tells you the clock is loud, he glared. You think you're winning? I shook my head. I think the dirt deserves boring adults. On my way out, I placed the ledger in front of Marla like a mirror. Read it, I said, all the way through. It's his handwriting. She stared at the margin note, lips tight. The candle guttered like it knew gossip. At home, I put my phone back on oxygen and watched the group chat go silent. A final message from the lender slid in, efficient and inevitable. Acceleration notice dispatched via certified mail to all parties. I washed my popcorn bowl, set it upside down to dry, and listened to the quiet stretch out like a cat in a sunbeam. The first bill had landed. The next thing to fall would be the act. Confrontation. You knew? You shows? Marla scheduled the summit in a conference room that looked like it sold beige professionally. She'd upgraded from eucalyptus to lemon law. Brent wore a blazer that squeaked every time he moved, like it missed being a couch. I arrived with the barn ledger under one arm and a Tupperware of brownies under the other, because nothing says receipts like sugar and citations. Marla started with a sigh you could hang curtains on. You knew. She aimed it at me like a taser. I set the ledger down and popped the brownie lid. You chose, I said, offering the plate. Carb up. Decisions burn calories. Brent slapped the table. You set us up. He had veins in his forehead spelling Wi-Fi passwords. I nudged the ledger open to the loans page. Grandpa set a rule. You climbed over it in flip-flops. I tapped the margin note, his square handwriting. If they cut corners, they'll cut you. That's a warning, not a riddle. Marla blinked in italics. This ledger could be anything. She gestured broadly, as if waving could unwrite pencil. Cool, I said. Cool as freezer peas. We'll submit it for forensic examination. Paper fibers, ink age, chain of custody. Also, here's the photo of Grandpa writing in it, dated 3 years ago, with a coffee stain shaped like Ohio. I slid the print across. Brent's mouth forgot words and vowels and settled on goo. He rallied with bravado. That will was real. We downloaded the template from a lawyer forum. His voice cracked on real like puberty stopped by to help. Then you won't mind a forensic look there too, I said. Handwriting analysis, notary logs, device metadata. Did you know the notary stamp you used was out of service that day? I smiled gently. Sprinkles. Marla stared, then jabbed a finger at the lender's letter. This is sabotage. This is policy, I said. Predates my mascara. The clause triggers on change in operator. That's you, on film. With filters. Brent leaned back and tried to smirk, but it slid off. We were grieving and confused. The notary said it was fine on weekdays. And also celebrating in the lobby, I said. Grief looks different on everyone. Yours looked like hashtags. Marla softened her voice to marshmallow. Grandpa wanted unity. Unity isn't forgery, I said. Unity is watching the herd at 2 a.m. when the fence goes down in sleet. Did you know the fence code before today? Silence pinballed around. The ficus leaned away from responsibility. Brent jabbed at the ledger again. He didn't mean this to blow up. I flipped the page to the clause, slid my finger under the line like a preschool teacher. He meant keep the operator steady, because banks like boring. You two are fireworks inside a library. Marla crossed her arms. We'll fix it. We'll get a loan. Bridge loan denied, I said, handing over the email from the bank they'd already tried. Debt to income is throwing hands. Also, equipment sales blocked. Collateral tags say hi. Also, bankruptcy trustees love a fraudulent conveyance like my cat loves a sunspot. Brent's face did long division and failed. So, what? You expect us to just swallow $600K? Like in payments? Like Klarna? I expect you to read before you cosplay competence, I said, and to accept that you wanted the farm for the sunset, not the spreadsheets. That's fine. Wanting is free. Owning is invoices. Marla took a breath, went for guilt. You wouldn't be doing this if you loved Grandpa. I'm doing this because I loved Grandpa, I said. He trusted routine. He trusted paper. He trusted that when someone tells you the rule, you don't decorate it, you follow it. She glared so hard her mascara clumped. We're going to sue. I slid a printout across the table. State criminal statute on forgery, underlined like a marching band. Neat. Here's the number for the DA. Oh, and here's the notary log showing their stamp was out of service. If we're doing court, let's bring snacks. I pushed the brownies. Forward. Fudge? Brent didn't take a brownie. He took the bait. You're enjoying this. I'm enjoying competence, I said. And I'm enjoying the idea of cows not wondering why their hay is late because someone's filming a reel about legacy. I turned the ledger so they could both see the margin again. He wrote the rule for a reason. He knew you. Marla's lip quivered, then steadied into anger. You could have warned us. I did, I said. For months. Read everything. Don't rush. Don't change operators without notice. You told me to relax. I pointed at the letters. This is me relaxed. Her phone buzzed. She peeked. The lender again, asking for competency affidavits. She paled. Brent went gray like a photocopy. We'll just deny we accepted, he muttered. You posed, I said. You signed. You posted. You requested gate codes, demanded keys, scheduled deliveries, told the co-op to put feed on your account, and sidebarred a mechanic for the tractor. That's called holding the steering wheel. Marla pressed fingertips to her temples. There has to be a way out. There is, I said. Resign your claims. Let competent operators step in. Debt stays with the party who triggered the clause. Fields get tended. Grandpa's dirt breathes. Never, she said. Pride wore her face like a bad hat. Brent stood abruptly, chair squawking. We're done here. We are, for today, I said, closing the ledger with ceremony. The clock isn't. I slid a brownie toward him anyway. He didn't take it. I wrapped it in a napkin. For later. Sugar helps when math doesn't. At the door, Marla grabbed my sleeve. Say you're sorry. For what? I asked. For not letting this go. I held her gaze. I'm sorry you thought the farm was a backdrop. It's a job. I freed my sleeve. Jobs have rules. Outside, the hall smelled like copier and regret. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Another lender timestamp. I smiled without teeth and headed for the stairs. Somewhere down the corridor, Brent muttered something about lawyers. Somewhere up the chain, compliance sharpened its pencils. I tucked the ledger close, the brownies closer, and walked out into heat that made the asphalt shimmer like a lie. The legal turn. Forgery, fraud, and flight. I woke up mean and organized. Coffee, binder, clean shirt that says, "Don't test me" in beige. I drove to the DA's office with the barn ledger riding shotgun like a chaperone. The receptionist had a bun that could hold secrets. Reason for your visit? She asked. Forgery and light cardio, I said, setting the binder down so it thumped like a heartbeat. Inside, chain of custody, signature comparisons, the wrong middle initial, screenshots, timestamps, and a tab labeled Notary Shenanigans with a smiley face, because I'm festive. The assistant DA read in silence like a priest at a spicy confession. This is thorough, she said, which is prosecutor for bless you, petty librarian. We'll need the notary logs. I slid them across. Already subpoenaed in anticipation, I said, and she gave me a look that said she was upgrading my file from paper to problem solver. By lunch, Marla's lawyer discovered religion in the form of panic. He emailed drafts of wills with dates that moved around like a nervous rabbit. Grandpa was considering changes, he wrote. Considering changes is not a spell. I replied, cute pond, muddy water. Then I put on boots. The DA's office pinged me. The notary logs came back spicy. Stamp status. Out of service on the exact day there will allegedly got notarized. Oops, with sprinkles. The DA called it an anomaly. I called it Tuesday. She asked for my availability to testify. I'm free, I'm punctual, and I bring snacks. She said, we don't eat in court, which is fair, but I've seen bailiffs chew gum. Also, Brent emailed, can we notarize retroactively if our heart was in the right place, which is a legal genre called nope? 2 hours later, the bank joined the party as an interested entity, which is banker for you, cost us time, and time is a yacht. Their recovery team called with voices like sharpened rulers. We'll be monitoring asset movement. I pictured Brent trying to roll a baler down the driveway at midnight while wearing sunglasses. They've already tried, I said. Check Cousins LLC with the name Future Farms 2. There was a pause, then typing, then the quiet joy of a repo man clearing his throat. Family group chat lost its mind like a raccoon in a feed bin. Neutral Cousins sent a vague, maybe stop deleting things, which is how I learned someone was deleting things. Marla went for spiritual warfare with a Bible verse against betrayal and 3 clapping hands. I didn't reply. I fed the DA a second binder. Device metadata for their PDFs, creation timestamps, GPS pings from their phones that day, and Brent's calendar event titled Win Farm Lol Lol. Heard? At dusk, a cousin flipped. Not dramatic, not a movie, just a text. I can't go down with them. She arrived with screenshots, voicemails, and the kind of delete this messages that smell like guilt. They said just copy his signature from the tractor manual, she whispered, ashamed. I hugged her anyway. Shame is boring. Evidence is delicious. Marla's lawyer tried one last waffle. We request a meeting to resolve this privately. Private meetings are where accountability goes to vape. The DA replied, see you at arraignment. I baked cookies shaped like gavels out of spite. The next morning, a deputy served papers like appetizers at a wake. Brent filmed it for content and then remembered content is evidence. He darted off camera like a guilty meerkat. They called me 20 minutes later. You did this, Brent hissed. Paper did this, I said. You just signed it. They ran. Not out of town, don't get excited, but in circles. First, a quick sale attempt to a guy named Katie who sells cars from a tent, blocked by liens. Then, a bridge loan application that triggered bank alarms I could hear from my porch. Then, equipment shuffled to an LLC so fresh it still smelled like ink. The repo trucks showed up smiling with clipboards. Someone took a selfie with the combine like it was prom. Their lawyer filed a motion to dismiss on the grounds of grief confusion, which is not a law. The DA stacked exhibits like pancakes. Wrong middle name, notary out of service, signature loop missing. Draft metadata created on Marla's iPad the night before Grandpa's last hospital stay, filed under taxes but scary, which is almost poetry. The judge's face did that slow, disappointed dad thing you can hear from across the county. The bank's hold music got meaner, like a xylophone with opinions. A compliance rep emailed me a single line, "Thank you for your cooperation." Translation: we like tidy. Meanwhile, my cousins pivoted to PR. Marla filmed herself crying in a parked SUV, the natural habitat of public regrets, and called me Judas with a smoky eye. The comments were an open mic for Facebook ants. I scrolled. I did not engage. I forwarded the video to the DA with the subject, Self-Authentication, Exhibit Q. The notary called the DA and then called me, voice shaking like jello in an earthquake. They pressured me to. Backdate, she blurted. I was dumb, I said. Dumb is forgivable, felonies are sticky. She agreed to cooperate. License, pending a funeral. Court date set. Lender deadlines don't care about vibes, hashtags, or pearls. I walked the fence line that night so I wouldn't combust. The fields breathed like a sleeping animal. I told the dark, we're going to get you boring. A breeze said okay. On the group chat, silence finally grew like moss. One last ping from Brent. You'll regret this. I stared at the cows, who do not care about threats. I regret your haircut, I whispered, and went inside to label another folder. Midpoint crisis, auction threat, and weather. The foreclosure notice hit the county calendar like a jump scare with a gavel. Foreclosure auction. Date, time, coordinates, bring your dead soul and a bitter paddle. I stared at the PDF until the text wiggled. My stomach did the Macarena. My spine tried to file for sick leave. Grandpa's land got a number like cattle at the fair, and I wanted to bite the font. Then the sky decided to join the drama. Weather rolled in sideways, gray and mean, like a mother-in-law with notes. Wind slapped the fence like it owed money. Lightning stitched the horizon with bad intentions. I grabbed a raincoat that used to be yellow and now was mud-flavored and headed out because the cows were texting me in moo. Half the fence went down with a sound like a sigh from God. The ladies took it as an invitation to tour the neighborhood. Nothing says midnight cardio like explaining property lines to adventurous beef in a thunderstorm. I jogged, cussed in lowercase, and bribed with a coffee can of pellets like I was running a 5-star restaurant for idiots I love. One heifer stepped daintily into a ditch, glared at me like I was the weather, then allowed rescue with the theatrical patience of a queen. My phone buzzed in a pocket that was now a small aquarium. The auctioneer's office confirming the listing, cheerful as balloons. I said, "Great, love that for us," and then slid into the mud like a toddler discovering gravity. Somewhere, Brent posted a gym selfie captioned, "Hustle." I screamed into a bale. By 2 a.m., the cows were home, the fence was a suggestion, and I smelled like fear and pond. I didn't take selfies. No sainthood applications. I just trudged into the barn, flipped the office light, and sat on an upside-down bucket because chairs are for people whose lives don't involve hoof math. The auction date pulsed in my head like a car alarm. Grandpa's dirt under a tent, sold by a guy with a microphone and an ego. I called the ag co-op manager because he's basically a therapist who sells seed. He answered like he'd been waiting. We talked operator agreements and leaseback structures, continuity plans, and how banks love boring more than oxygen. If you can present a competent operator path, he said, lenders sometimes choose not to swing the axe. I took notes on a greasy envelope and underlined sometimes until the pen dented the table. After we hung up, I went spelunking in the co-op bylaws like a raccoon in a church kitchen. Buried 3 pages deep, under a paragraph only a lawyer's mother could love, was a clause about transitional operating agreements when continuity is threatened. It was tiny, nerdy, and shining like a nickel in the dust. I took a photo, kissed my phone, and apologized to it for all the times I dropped it on concrete. Morning staggered in on wet socks. I called the lender's compliance counsel, voice steady, hair feral. I have a continuity proposal, I said, and walked her through the operator agreement with the co-op standing in as adult supervision, me as administrative support, and my cousins as proud, unconsulted, decorative gourds. She was quiet in that legal way that means she's building a tower of case notes in her head. Send it, she said. Today. I sent it with a cover letter so efficient it could host a TED Talk. Then I drove the fence line with a bucket of staples and a roll of high-tensile redemption. Every post I set felt like a prayer. Every prayer sounded like, please let boring win. At lunch, the auctioneer posted glossy photos of my fields like they were vacation rentals. Prime acreage, low drama. I reported the listing for misinformation. Marla uploaded a video in Aviators, declaring the auction illegal, which is bold for a person who tried legal once and bounced off. I did not engage. I forwarded the video to compliance, who probably watched it with popcorn labeled evidence. By evening, the storm had moved on to bully another county. The dirt steamed, forgiving as always. The lender emailed, "We will consider your continuity plan upon receipt of competency documentation from proposed operators." The co-op replied within the hour with letters that smelled like competence and diesel. Deadlines still snapped like mousetraps, but the axe hesitated. I walked the fence line again, boots squelching, hands raw, brain humming. Auction on the calendar like a dare. Weather calmed, cows chewed. I whispered into the gold light, "We're not a backdrop. We're a job." The field breathed back, slow and stubborn. Somewhere in town, a man tested a microphone. Out here, the grass chose quiet. Retaliation, their PR spin, and my silence. Marla went full televangelist in her SUV, which is where apologies and conspiracies go to nest. Ring light on, seatbelt off, lashes at DEFCON 2. "I never wanted this," she sniffed, like the debt wandered in uninvited wearing Crocs. "My cousin is tearing our family apart." She dabbed her eye with a tissue that still had the store sticker. Comments erupted. 37 Facebook ants armed with scripture and exclamation points. Someone typed, "Karma is real, sweetie," which, thank you, Brenda, but I already have a spreadsheet. Brent followed with a montage set to royalty-free guitar. Slow pans of sunsets he didn't earn, and a tractor he still can't start. Captioned, "They can take our land, but not our legacy." "Sir, the clause says otherwise." He included a shot of his boot on the fence. "The fence is my fence." I reported the boot for impersonating labor. I did not engage. My thumb hovered over reply like a moth, then I fed the lender instead. I uploaded the co-op's transitional operator package, names, resumes, competency affidavits, production histories, and a cover letter that could floss a shark. I added photos of repaired fencing, invoices paid, and a calendar with planting dates. My email subject line, continuity plan, no drama, just dirt. Compliance responded with a saintly received under review, which is legal for keep being tedious. We adore that. Meanwhile, Marla's narrative evolved like a Tamagotchi. First, I was a traitor. Then, a city witch who never learned to love soil. Then, unstable, which is rich from the owner of a cry filter. She posted a screenshot of a text I sent that read, "Please read clause 7.3.2. The comments, "See how cold?" Yes, Janet, the clause is room temperature. Someone wrote, pray it away, and I pictured the loan officer bowing her head over an amortization schedule. I muted their stories and printed their stories. The DA likes PDFs more than popcorn. I mailed a thumb drive labeled Exhibit Sunshine to her office. No commentary, no emoji, just timestamps and captions. Legacy, we won. Day one. Let their own vowels testify. The lender asked for proof the co-op could keep animals fed and rows planted. I sent feed tickets, purchase orders, fuel logs, and a letter from the vet who has rescued more of our mistakes than I care to count. She wrote, these folks show up at 2 a.m. I didn't cry, I just stapled. Their lawyer tried a hinge squeak of reason. If she takes the farm, my clients will relinquish claims in exchange for extinguishing debt. Translation. Take the grenade, darling. I declined with sprinkles. The operator agreement proceeds independently, I wrote. Debt obligations remain with the parties who triggered acceleration. He replied, unreasonable. I sent a smiling period. Marlo went live again, now flanked by a potted fern and a motivational sign that said, bless this mess, which, consider me blessed. We just want to farm in peace, she said. Commenter, then why are you on live? She blocked him and accused me of harassment by documentation. I can't help it. Paper is my love language. My silence grew teeth. Every time she posted, a lender specialist quietly requested another competence form from the co-op. Every time Brent subtweeted, the DA stamped a date on an exhibit. I baked banana bread. I repaired a gate hinge. I sent an email titled, Follow-up, Transitional Fuel Allowance. Each click felt like a fence post set. Then the DA called. The notary has confessed to backdating under pressure. Her voice was calm, like a lake with sharks in it. She's cooperating. I said, copy, and pressed the cool of the counter with my palm until my hand remembered this is justice, not joy. Marla uploaded a meme about haters. Brent posted a flexing arm emoji. The lender sent, pending approval of continuity plan, and the bank's tone shifted from axe to ledger. I took a drive at dusk. The fields wore that soft gold only earned by boring decisions. Near the mailbox, a neighbor's teen waved. Saw the video, he said. Which one? I asked. He snorted. All of them. You're winning by not talking. I smiled. I'm busy. He nodded at the horizon. It shows. Back home, I placed the co-op agreement packet on Grandpa's chair and rested a hand on it. They're spinning, I told the empty room. We're planting. My phone buzzed with another live notification. I swiped it closed, opened my inbox, and sent one more tidy email. Try fail cycles. Last minute saves that aren't. It started with a whisper. Quick sale. Marla found a buyer named Cade who sells cars from tents and real estate from vibes. He arrived in sunglasses the size of ambitions and said, cash offer if we can close by Friday. The title clerk laughed delicately and faxed him a bouquet of liens. Cade's smile wilted like spinach in a sauna. So these follow the land, he asked. Like burrs, I said cheerfully. He backed away, bumping a ficus. The ficus survived. The deal did not.